Welcome to Anfield for this Emirates FA Cup third round replay between Liverpool and Exeter City. At St James's Park, the Grecians took advantage of an inexperienced Liverpool side. Tom Nichols scored an excellent early goal for them. However, Liverpool came back through Jerome Sinclair. Adam Bogdan, the goalkeeper, then had a moment to forget, letting in a Lee Holmes corner. But Brad Smith ensured the Reds avoided an embarrassing cup exit. And it all failed to dent the mood in Devon. Tonight's replay will be special for all involved with Exeter. Well, here in Liverpool, they're still coming to terms with losing to Manchester United in the Premier League on Sunday. Jurgen Klopp probably believing that the best chance of success this season is in cups. But Paul Tisdale has brought his League Two side here with plenty of thought and optimism. And he's got help, of course, Steve Perryman, remember him, captain of Tottenham for 2 FA Cup finals in a row in the early 80s, and now the director of football at Exeter. Well, he won't perhaps recognise too many of these Liverpool players except seeing them play in that first game, because it's a young side again used by Jurgen Klopp, partly because of injuries and partly because this month is so hectic for Liverpool Football Club. They've included Simon Mignolet, the first choice goalkeeper, who earlier this week signed a new 5-year deal. And Matt Oakley is still playing. He was in that FA Cup final back in 2003 with Southampton against Arsenal. And Clinton Morrison, who does as much work these days talking about what's on the field as a media pundit, but he's still playing, and he's playing tonight. Well, you won't need to know too much about Liverpool. They've won the FA Cup 7 times, 14 finals, 44 trophies in all, more than any other English team. But Exeter, who are mid-table in League Two, the 4th tier, and they finally got back to winning ways at the weekend. They won at Leyton Orient, an away game against a team beginning with L. Who knows what could happen in the FA Cup tonight? And wondering alongside me, Danny Higginbotham. Danny, good evening to you. It's an interesting one, isn't it? If Liverpool had put all the stars out, we'd probably be thinking this might be over reasonably quickly, but they haven't. And we've got a young Liverpool lineup, and Exeter, 6,000 fans backing them as well.
Oh, it's fantastic to see the support from Exeter, but I think from Liverpool's point of view, with Klopp, he wants to look at the players. They're still on the trial period. That means the senior professionals and the younger ones, and he will want to know come the summer what he has got, what he wants to get rid of to make way for the new players that are coming into it. So what will be interesting is the young players. A lot of them won't have played at Anfield before, how they take it mentality-wise, you know, because a lot of them will be very nervous.
Well, some of the Exeter players will have a lot more experience of Anfield than the Liverpool lineup. Brad Smith scored the second goal, his first goal for the club, down in St James's Park, the other St James's Park as we call it, down in Exeter. He's had 5 first-team appearances, but none of them have been here. So he's got just another little hurdle to get over as he looks to develop his career, and he's, as you say, not alone in that. Jose Enrique, a bit more of a familiar face, but he hasn't played much over the last year because he's really been out of favour after injury. And in the midst of the FA Cup here, a World Cup assistant in Darren Cann, who helped Howard Webb in the final in South Africa in 2010. Just checking the jewellery, the right kind of studs. There's nothing dangerous. Neil Swarbrick there, the referee. Liverpool all ready to go. And Jose Enrique is going to be the captain tonight. Benteke was captain down in Exeter, and he's happy, I think, to be at the back of the line here. And it's Jordan Moore-Taylor, who's only 21, and he's leading out a side, some of whom are almost old enough to be his dad, because Paul Tisdale, as we'll see when we look at the teams, has really taken every experienced player that he's allowed to use tonight from his squad, even from his coaching staff as well, in Danny Butterfield, to try and, I think, get through the first part of the evening. The first part of the problem will be not to freeze. And the older the player, of course, the less likelihood of that
20
happening.
seconds.
There was an interesting celebration at the end by the Exeter players after the draw. I can understand why the club was happy, Danny, but to me they had a great chance of going through and knocking out this inexperienced Liverpool side at the first attempt.
Well, it was a fantastic opportunity, and the fact was they were 15 minutes away from doing that. So I think Tisdale probably looks at it as an opportunity missed. You know, this is obviously going to be far more difficult, and what they'll look to do is look to try and frustrate Liverpool, especially earlier on in the game.
Well, his charisma is certainly a part of the current Liverpool setup. They got to the semi-final last season, very much disappointed against Aston Villa. So Liverpool trying to prioritise. I feel that the level that Exeter come from, it shouldn't be an obstacle to a group of young players, but the FA Cup has a history of making those kinds of decisions look rather inappropriate. But let's give you the team news. And there is one surprising senior name in an expected young Liverpool lineup. It is the first-choice goalkeeper Simon Mignolet, and another senior man, Joe Allen, also starts in midfield, along with the expensive striker Christian Benteke, who did play in the game at Exeter. Elsewhere, it's very much down to the backup boys, which kept Liverpool in the cup down in Devon a week ago last Friday.
I think the one thing that you'll look at with Smith and Randall, they're the ones that will give the width going forward. They'll look to try and get the supply line to Benteke. Obviously, you'll have Stewart that will be sitting. Brannigan and Allen will look to get forward as well. And Ivan and Teixeira, they'll play probably quite narrow with Benteke to create space for Randall and Smith to get down the sides and hopefully get some support and crosses into Benteke.
Well, there are some surprises for Exeter too. 4 changes from the first game, and a real vote for experience from their manager Paul Tisdale. 36-year-old player coach Danny Butterfield comes into midfield alongside Matt Oakley, who is 38 now, 13 years on from playing in an FA Cup final with Southampton, and just the one forward and another veteran, the former Republic of Ireland international Clinton Morrison.
I think what we'll see from Exeter, 4-1-4-1, but I think more defensively 4-5-1 and sitting deep. When they do get forward, I think they'll try and get Ribeiro and Nichols will look to get 2v1 down the right against Smith, and likewise Woodman and Holmes against Randall down the left, because we've all seen over recent matches that Liverpool can be very vulnerable to crosses.
Well, since the first game, Liverpool have played twice here and not won, snatching a draw in that 3-3 thriller against Arsenal. Joe Allen, virtually his last touch as a Liverpool player, because he wasn't involved in the other game when they lost to Manchester United's only shot on target here on Sunday. It's another part of the experience for the Exeter lads to hear the Anfield anthem belted out with customary gusto. But the Exeter players won't walk alone either, with 6,000 supporters. Great thrill for them. Exeter haven't played here since 1981. He wasn't playing then, but he might have been in with a shout. Clinton Morrison, full of smiles, and definitely got a future outside of the game in the football media. Christian Benteke hoping that his future is still here at Liverpool. He hasn't actually sort of burst into Jurgen Klopp's plans. They have had their better results under Klopp when Benteke hasn't started. Exeter have had a couple of games again since they faced Liverpool first time around. They drew at Morecambe and they won in London against Leyton Orient, despite conceding 2 penalties. And in their change strip, they set this cup replay underway. It's cold, but it's a much better playing surface than the one the two teams had to negotiate 12 days ago. And the Exeter players will appreciate that, I'm sure, as much as their rivals. Headed on by Benteke. Followed by Ribeiro. Jose Enrique, of course, played most of his first-team football as a left-back, but played in the centre of defence in the first game, and he's there again tonight. Will be Olenik, who's from Austria, who's the Exeter keeper, former Aston Villa youngster. A little bit of confusion here. And in the end, the referee comes to Liverpool's rescue.
I think what was interesting then, you know, Olenik playing the long ball, Morrison going up for it straight away, Holmes on the left wing, Nichols on the right wing, both came in very narrow, trying to get in between the centre-backs and the full-backs for any flick on from Morrison. So I would imagine that's the plan, because otherwise Morrison's going to find himself very, very isolated early on in the game.
And Paul Tisdale in his pre-match interview said, Olenik out at eager Brad Smith. Paul Tisdale said, I've got a plan for the first half, and then we'll see. And certainly with the age of some of the players he's picked for the first half, there may well be planned changes, if not at half-time, certainly around the hour mark. Conor Randall is an eager right back as well. They, I must say, lent on their youth. They finished strongly. Liverpool just cashed in on Exeter, edging towards what would have been a famous victory. They've never beaten Liverpool. That won't surprise you. That was the first time they've stopped Liverpool beating them in 6 previous meetings.
Just looking at these first few minutes, it looks very much as though Exeter are going 4-3-3. You know, it goes 4-5-1, but you can see it clearly there. You know, you've got Holmes, Morrison and Nichols across the front, and then you've got Oakley, Butterfield and Davis to the midfield 3. Obviously Holmes and Nichols will probably drop back to create a 5, but so they want to be attacking. They want to get the ball up to Morrison and get playing around him and get support up to him as quick as possible.
Well, whatever the formation, who's out on this side of the pitch for Exeter, they're going to have to deal with Brad Smith, who loves to power on from left back and found himself in the position to get that second equaliser. He's already a full international for Australia. Full international for Wales, of course, is Joe Allen. And Jordan Ibe, another one who's more involved, of course, these days at first-team level. Just turned 20. Was a substitute against Manchester United, which was the worst weekend for the Liverpool supporters, to lose to their great rivals, particularly in a game where probably Liverpool had the better chances, certainly the more attempts at goal. They might fashion an attempt at goal here. Ribeiro strong in the air, going across to deal with the ball in towards the near post. Good movement by Brannigan. Still plenty of red in the Exeter penalty area. First few minutes very important. Stewart, who played very well in the first game, his debut. Smith. Benteke repositioning. It's too high for him. Might come his way now. On the turn. Just challenge enough to stop any strength in the Belgian shot.
Oh, we've seen early on already Smith getting into some great areas. A fantastic ball in, just too high for Allen, but they get it back into the box. Benteke uses his strength but can't get anything behind the shot, and that's something what you will see time and time again with Smith, because you've got Teixeira who will probably play in front of him. He's going to play very narrow, so there's going to be so much width for Smith to run into. It's going to be important that Nichols on the right wing for Exeter does track back.
This is Alex Nichols, not to be confused with Tom Nichols, who scored one of the Exeter goals, but because of the tactical changes has found himself on the bench at the start of the replay. Paul Tisdale, his 10th season in charge of Exeter, bucking a trend of hire and fire in management. And in terms of trend, he's pretty much a setter in the fashion stakes too. Why not? I'm sitting alongside a man about whom I could say the same thing.
I'm trying. My wardrobe's definitely changed over the last few years to what it used to be.
Ribeiro with the throw. He's had a couple of games in his earlier career for Wales. It'll be interesting, the levels of expectation from the Liverpool fans. They'll be well aware, they know their football in these parts. They'll be well aware that it might be a little time for this side, some of whom they will never have seen before, can settle into their task. Exeter eager perhaps to make the most of early minutes while that's going on. Jurgen Klopp says to his players, just go out and enjoy the experience. He's got no doubts about them, so they shouldn't have any doubts about themselves. They are playing in one of the most famous football stadiums in the world, so you've got to relish that chance. Who knows when it might come again. Allen jumping, Ibe trying to step in, off by Butterfield, who'll be using his experience, just sitting in front of the back four. And Danny Butterfield can do more than defend. He once scored an FA Cup hat-trick. And here is Alex Nichols, presented with possession. Oakley, the give and go with Morrison, and couldn't quite feed it back to the former Southampton man, Benteke. Out by Woodman, who'll be a bit nervous tonight because he gave away the 2 penalties at Leyton Orient at the weekend. So he was very lucky that the League Two leading scorer Jay Simpson missed them both.
Morrison, he's just trying to get hold of the ball to then bring other players in, but he's lost control of it and he's brought Allen down there. But what's interesting, you're looking at Smith, and we've already seen him playing more often than not as a left winger, so that means that if Nichols can get the ball like you just found then, Smith's going to be out of the equation. It's just up to Exeter to try and turn a positive Liverpool into a negative.
Good movement by Teixeira, and it gets a little touch in it. Knocked on its way by Woodman, but not out of danger, especially with Benteke in there. Ribeiro gets his head to it, and Nichols trying to run off Smith, but he's stopped by Stewart. Randall. That's good work by Ibe. Calm play by Butterfield. Stewart actually started as a youngster with Spurs. Make the breakthrough there. Thiago Ilori, who was on loan with Aston Villa until the window reopened, and both clubs agreed it was better for him to come back to Liverpool. Not a good time to go to Aston Villa on a temporary basis, really, in the first half of this terrible season for them. Here's Smith, found by Benteke, and put away by Joe Allen, who hasn't wasted much time, scoring at Anfield again after that late equaliser against Arsenal in the midweek game here last week. Good start for Jurgen Klopp. Well made, well finished, 1-0 Liverpool.
This is all about Smith. You can see even early on in the game he's kept the whip so well. Plays a good 1-2 with Benteke, keeps going, gets the better. Both you can see clearly he's not offside. The centre-back's playing him onside. And there's a presence of mind then to pull it back for Allen. And this goal is all about Smith. The determination, the desire to get to that byline. Like we said, he's near enough been playing as a left winger. He's been Liverpool's most dangerous player so far. And you can see, excellent setup for Allen there, and Liverpool 1-0.
There's been a bit of speculation that Joe Allen might be available in this transfer window. Talk of him possibly going back to his former club Swansea. I'm sure he wants to stay at Anfield, and that's another step in that direction, you feel. But Brad Smith, who was a headliner at Exeter, is carrying on with the same kind of verve and end product. I think that's the most important thing. You can gallop up and down the touchline all you like, but if the delivery at the crucial moment isn't spot on, you're not quite the player you want to become. But he put it on a plate for the Welshman.
I think the problem is that Exeter having down that side is that Nichols, the right winger, he near enough is staying in a 4-3-3 when they haven't got the ball as well.
It's Ibe making progress on the other flank, retrieved by Teixeira. Now, it's been a good start by the much changed Liverpool lineup. Some would say a little bit fortunate to get a second chance. It's often the way for the underdogs, Danny, isn't it, in the FA Cup? The best opportunity you have is the first opportunity, and if you don't really take it, then it means another 90 minutes against players who essentially should be better than you.
Yeah, definitely, and they'll be disappointed from the first game that they weren't able to hold on, and Liverpool have started very, very well going forward. They're causing a lot of problems, and we look at the fact that Oakley, more often than not, the central midfielder, he's having to pick up Smith, because Nichols, who's playing right wing, is playing far too high. And that means when the cross comes into the box for Allen to score, Oakley, that's where Oakley wants to be. He wants to be in that area, but he's had to come out into the wide areas because Nichols is far too high and should be trekking Smith.
You played with Matt Oakley in Southampton?
Yes, I did, yeah. There was a lot of talk about him getting an England call-up, and he did his cruciate right around that time, and it's very difficult for him to come back from there. But cultured player, very, very good on the ball, and was one of the main reasons we had so much success at Southampton, getting to the FA Cup final and getting into Europe.
Stewart.
Alex, stay right, Alex, stay right.
Jose Enrique actually played the last time Liverpool got to an FA Cup final 4 years ago. It will be 4 years ago come May. Beaten by Chelsea. Beaten in the air, but the challenge was enough. I'm sure Morrison's header didn't really deliver. Benteke. Teixeira outside it. Benteke turning on the power. Trying to work with Ibe. Affects the players in the centre to be solid. Butterfield. Good distribution by the player coach. Woodman doesn't get very far. He has to get back into position. The Exeter left back. Allen. Shearer trying to get inside Ribeiro. Wasn't going to let that happen. The chance here for Liverpool to give Jurgen Klopp his biggest home victory. I'm surprised if it's his biggest victory, bearing in mind they won 6-1 at Southampton. But they've only won 4 of his 10 home games, and all of those by a single goal margin. Got that single goal margin here, and maybe can add to it with Benteke. Trying to show that it's not just an aerial presence.
Yeah, he seems, he looks like a player that's just desperate to do something, you know, trying to create that little bit of magic just to get his reputation up, because obviously things haven't started great at Liverpool for him since Klopp's come in, but sometimes, you know, you just need to do the simple things and then grow into the game. But obviously he's eager to try and impress.
He was a big star at Aston Villa. The expectations were lower, and even though Liverpool are, when you look at the table, you have to say quite honestly they are a mid-table team in the Barclays Premier League at the moment. But it's not to say that's where they accept that they should be.
I think the thing at Aston Villa, though, he was a focal point. Everything went through him. It's very, very different at Liverpool. There's runners getting beyond, and you know, he's not the focal point, and that's what he needs to be. He wants crosses coming into the box. He wants things to be able to attack, and we've seen that that's not Liverpool. They like to go through the middle with a one-touch, two-touch, and sometimes he can get left behind when players are playing around him.
Oakley fouled. Benteke did score against Liverpool in that FA Cup semi-final when Villa went through. That was part of the thinking when the deal was done. He played well against the club that he now is employed by.
He was absolutely fantastic. But what Villa did, every time they could, they got the ball up long to him and they got players around him. Now, no disrespect to Aston Villa, that's not the way that Liverpool want to play. And for me, that is one of Benteke's biggest assets. Getting the ball, holding it up, and then runners coming onto him. But Klopp, he wants to play through the pitch. He wants to play through the pitch quickly. Obviously, there's still question marks whether Benteke can actually fit into that style.
Teixeira. He's had plenty of English experience with clubs like Brentford and Brighton. Outside the top flight, of course. Benteke. Confusing Teixeira. Hernandez's kick is not really worthy of the circumstances. Much pressure, he knows. He's 29 now. Most of his senior career has been in this country. Ilori. Stewart striding on and maybe going all the way through. A very confident break. It's as though these Liverpool youngsters are heeding the words of Jurgen Klopp. They are going to enjoy themselves, but the biggest enjoyment, of course, comes with the victory, should it be. They play West Ham in the next round at home. They get through. One of the clubs that have beaten Liverpool here in the Premier League this season, conclusively too. Allen, Teixeira, Benteke! Well, it's his area, and again, I think at his most confident, he would have put that one away. It wasn't as if it was just too high that he was straining for it.
It's a fantastic ball in from Teixeira. He should do better there. I don't think there's any question about it. It wasn't too high for him. He's got up well, just not able to keep it down, and as we said previously, that's what he wants. But I just feel as though at the moment could have been a slight touch on it from Elenic, but the referee's given a goal kick. But I just feel at the moment his confidence is quite low, and things that come naturally and easy to him, they all of a sudden become difficult when you're not full of confidence.
He is actually Liverpool's leading scorer with 7, and that's going to pay £30+ million at the start of the season. You'd probably expect a few more come the January of that season. Teixeira. There's no restriction that we thought Stewart would sit, but he wants to join in further forward. Ibe, who hasn't got an Anfield goal to his name as yet.
It's good play. Liverpool played. You can see they're full of confidence, the youngsters, and they're going all over the place. The full-backs both bombing forward at every opportunity as well.
I think Jurgen Klopp again appreciating the dynamics around Benteke. He's got a Belgian that he's got a problem with at both ends of the pitch, hasn't he? Simon Mignolet, who's playing tonight. Adam Bogdan hasn't featured since that catastrophic game for him at Exeter, where he was beaten directly by a corner. But Mignolet, with this new 5-year contract, think it's fair to say, and no disrespect to Mignolet, he'd expect me to say it really, hasn't gone down particularly well with those Liverpool supporters, at least those Liverpool supporters who use the social media.
Yeah, I think, obviously, you know, the Liverpool supporters, when you look at it, the amount of goals they're conceding from crosses, they think that they think that he's a little bit shaky, a little bit vulnerable. But the thing is, when you look at the likes of Bogdan, you know, if there is an injury, you know, it shows that he doesn't trust any of the other keepers to put Mignolet in goal tonight, because he's been more than happy to change everyone else around the pitch and put youngsters in. So that could be a little bit of a worry for Liverpool. Well,
Bogdan also played in a Premier League game when Mignolet had a back spasm, and I think he was unlucky. He was fouled, but he dropped the ball and the goal was given. So not been an easy time for Adam Bogdan. There's a suggestion that Paul Tisdale might be thinking about a change a bit earlier.
I think the frustrating thing from him, his game plan would have been, let's get to half-time 0-0, and then there'll be a plan A and a plan B. You know, the first off, obviously, plan A, and then second one, then try and take the game to Liverpool. But it all goes out the window when you concede an early goal like they have done.
And they do look as though they're going to concede more than one. Here's Benteke. Safety in numbers in the end. Brown and Ribeiro. But he can't complain about lack of service, Benteke, at the moment.
No, it's a good ball from Ibe, stands it up at the far post. I think Brown and Ribeiro between them managed to get it out of harm's way.
This time it's not coming straight in, but the second time, and it's the net, but the outside of it. He's getting closer.
It's another good ball in. Benteke just peels off at the far post, just can't get it across the goalkeeper. But they are so dominant at the moment, Liverpool. Looks like Ilori's just had a shout at the last minute to leave it. He's just put his head down, and then Benteke's got onto it. But the problem that Exeter are having at the moment, obviously we're playing Morrison as the centre forward. He's getting isolated at times. Obviously they want to give support from Holmes and Nichols in the wide areas in particular, but they're having to defend so much that when the ball is going up to Morrison, it's very, very tough for him then to keep hold of it.
Pressure by Teixeira on Ribeiro. He's not long back from a spell out of injury. In fact, his comeback game was against Liverpool. Ilori, born in London but grew up in Portugal. Randall, Brannigan, Ibe. This is how we see Daniel Sturridge these days, watching rather than playing, enjoying what he sees. He's on a strength and conditioning course, a mini pre-season, maybe not so many, it's been going on for a couple of weeks, trying to get right so that when he does come back into the team, he's more likely to come back into the team to stay. And Swarbrick getting the free kick against Aaron Davis.
It's just a late challenge. The Exeter players just struggling with the movement of Liverpool at the moment. It's so fluid. You know, we said early on about Stewart, he'd be the one sitting and holding, allowing Brannigan and Allen to get forward, but he's been getting forward as well. They've not really been having to play with a defensive midfielder, so coming through the middle, Liverpool have got players running all over the place, and it's causing a lot of problems for Exeter.
Seniority counts for a fair bit in a match like this, I think, for Christian Benteke. Might not be on free kicks if he was in a Premier League encounter, but he can dispatch them, make no mistake about that. Former Villa striker against the former Aston Villa goalkeeper here at Anfield. Into the wall first time, and he wants to pass it the second time. Turned away by Olenek from Brannigan.
Good strike. The wall did its job at first, Benteke, and just lays it off to Brannigan. It's a good strike from Brannigan. And good save as well from Olenek to get it out of harm's way.
sorting out for Neil Swarbrick to do. Woodman and Brown. Meanwhile, Cameron Brannigan rather takes the corner, and that often happens. The referee says, we're going to carry on. I won't even let the corner get into the box.
Yes, he was always going to be, mindful of it then. You can see, I think it's more Taylor being manhandled by, it was Enrique and the referee. Neil Swarbrick, he'd been made aware of it, so kept his eye on it.
The older viewer around the world, when you said Brannigan and Allen, thinking of a famous comedy duo when I was growing up, and that was decades ago. It actually was Flanagan and Allen, and there is a Flanagan on the Liverpool bench tonight. John Flanagan's back in the squad for the first time since prior to the World Cup, which he nearly went to with England. He actually was on the pre-World Cup trip, and his last ever game at senior level was for England against Ecuador and Miami. But he's back after 18 months of knee trouble, and we hope that he'll get on the pitch tonight. It'll be a tremendous reception. He's a local lad, and they love their local lads here in Liverpool. John Flanagan.
Yeah, be a huge positive. I remember when he first came onto the scene, if I remember right, he scored away at Tottenham, and he looked as though he was ready-made for that left-back spot. It was fantastic, tough tackling, no question about some of the challenges he went into. Like you say, it'd be a welcome addition back to the Liverpool squad after having so long out with injury.
Cornered by Woodman, held up better by Morrison that time. Allen gives away the free kick.
See Holmes, throughout his career, more often than not, he's been the left winger, and he's very quick when he gets going. He's direct, and they'll be just hoping that he can get on the ball a little bit higher up the pitch and try and get crosses in that will trouble that man.
Made his debut for Derby at 15 years old.
If I remember right, I think it was still when I was there. There was him, there was Nathan Doyle and Tom Huddleston as well, all coming through at the same time, and there's big things expected of them.
He was in an FA Cup tie. And Steve Perryman, who's played in so many big games, was actually in the side that knocked out Exeter the last time they had a really deep run into the competition. Got to the quarterfinals and lost to Spurs. They knocked out Leicester. That was the last time, that 1981 season, when they beat a top division side in this competition. Alan Davis seizing there, they need something to just lift them at these circumstances. The best thing to say for Exeter's point of view, that it's still only 1-0. They could have been knocked out of sight, but that hasn't happened, and Liverpool have got some defending to do here, just to make sure that they don't leave their back door open, because they're getting so much joy going forward. Here they come again on the front foot, and Brad Smith, who set up Allen's goal, on the prowl. And Brannigan couldn't keep it down, but Jurgen Klopp enjoying the verve in that counter-attack.
There's real confidence in it. Once again, it's Smith, been a standout performer for Liverpool so far. Give credit, I think it's to Woodman. He comes out, makes sure that he can't take his time with his shot. Brannigan gets a good strike on it. It's just always rising, but the young players for Liverpool, they've settled right in. Very comfortable on the ball, and none more so than Smith at left back.
You see the movement of that ball as we watched it again in slow motion. The aerodynamics of the current style of footballs that are being used sometimes defy apparent logic, defy aerodynamics, and defy goalkeepers who complain all the time. And now Elenic has to come to the rescue as Exeter caught trying to play from the back. It's in Paul Tisdale's philosophy to do that, but really haven't got a foothold in the game to being able to do it here, and Liverpool trying to seize on any mistake.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do it against a team like Liverpool. That's what Liverpool want. That's why Liverpool, we saw the early weeks, that's why they were good away from home, because what they do, they go and press, and teams would play out from the back, and more often than not they'll actually outnumber them when they're trying to dispossess the ball off, and Exeter have got to be very careful when they do that, because Liverpool, there's a trigger and then they all go.
Half an hour gone. Of course, it could go to extra time tonight, even to penalties. Paul Tisdale said his team have been practicing. And asked if he'd been practicing, Jurgen Klopp said, no, I left it to the players. And Davis, another player you know well.
Yeah, he was a young lad coming through at Southampton. Didn't really get many opportunities there, but went on and was successful in Nottingham Forest and at Yeovil. More of a winger, really, in his younger days. Obviously, being asked to play in central midfield at the moment. Experience, and I think that's what they've got. They're looking to get experience through the spine of the team. So if you look at Butterfield, Oakley, Davis, and Morrison, that's what Tisdale are thinking, particularly been counting on in the first half.
Nichols. It's better from Exeter. Ribeiro. Smith. Is that just flipped onto him? Apparently not. It's a goal kick.
He's a player that there's a lot of interest in him from Birmingham in the summer. Just we see this goal again. Smith, fantastic play. Left Oakley. And the presence of mind as well to tee up Allen. And that's where a lot of the problems have been coming. Smith going down that left-hand side, he loves it. But just looking at the right-back, Ribeiro, he loves getting forward. He was Player of the Year last season for Exeter. But he's just not been able to get forward as much because it's been Smith, the one that's been the overpowering one down that side.
Gloria. Lifted forward by Jose Enrique. Right in the back of Ribeiro. Well, it's an evening out for them. Come up the west side of the country, the southwest to the northwest, to Merseyside, to this iconic football stadium that's going to be redeveloped, is being redeveloped at the moment. A big structure over the stand that our cameras are in. Paul Tisdale managing a club in the third round of the FA Cup for the first time, and I'm sure relishing pitting his wits against no less an opponent than Jurgen Klopp. And if they can get through to half-time at 1-0, I think maybe his selection will be justified. It might be hanging on by their fingertips to do that, because you do feel Liverpool will make more chances before half-time the way they've gone about the opening half an hour. This might be one of them. Didn't quite reach Benteke. Graham got there. Stewart.
What Liverpool have done this evening, okay, you can look at the quality of the opposition, but one thing they have done, they've used the width a lot better than what they had done in previous games. Getting the full-backs both going forward, both been impressive, getting into the wide areas, and Ibe, Teixeira in particular, they've been creating the space for the full-back, in particular Smith. Ibe not so much down the right-hand side for Randall, and it's been good because, like I say, the two full-backs, Randall and Smith, are getting forward every opportunity.
On the short side by Stewart. It's just quality that you need as a first-team player is concentration. There's one or two of the Liverpool lads probably thinking this has been pretty straightforward so far, and a stray pass leading to a teammate put in trouble. Free kick given away. Chance for Exeter to get the ball forward, which they found it very difficult to do. Woodman gets good distance on it. And the flag raised by Darren Cann.
You see the ball in from Woodman.
Pick anyone of four.
It is, and it's a little bit disappointing. Woodman, he's known at Exeter, very, very good on set pieces, so last thing you want to be really is offside in them situations, especially when the chances are going to be few and far between.
And out by Brown, touch from Nichols, clearance from Christian Ribeiro. Ilori. Stewart, making sure his pass got to its target that time. Touch from Brannigan. Ibe. Feeling from the Exeter supporters, the best angle on it, of course, that Benteke might have been offside. But again, he's trying to be clever and it ends up looking rather clumsy, but it's positive thinking, and this is the part of the pitch where coaches will tell you, we'll try the difficult thing.
I just feel as though, you know, he'd done the hard work, he'd got past Woodman, then wanted to go past him again, and that's what we talked about in the game, you know, trying to overcomplicate things. You know, he got himself into a good position, so he could just put the ball into the box.
It's the high press again. This time, the way round it. Not much for Simon Mignolet to do. It's a somewhat surprising call up here, which, as Danny was saying earlier, doesn't reflect too well on the other goalkeepers. There's a young Welshman, Danny Ward, who's done very well in Scotland over the first half of the season, been recalled from a loan from Aberdeen. He's been a substitute in the last 2 Premier League games without getting on.
It just makes you wonder when you look at the back four, because it's quite an inexperienced back four. Do they feel as though they need that seniority goalkeeper? That could well be the case.
And Butterfield caught in possession. No, not quite. Just got out of it. A stretch of a leg. Boot missing for Teixeira. When you talk about Bogdan, he's an international goalkeeper for Hungary. He's still in their international setup. He had plenty of first-team experience with Bolton. He played very well here in an FA Cup game last season, and that really, again, sometimes if a player plays well against your team, you think about buying him, and that's what Liverpool did as a backup goalkeeper. Here's Benteke, not bought as a backup. That's how he has been over the last few weeks under Jurgen Klopp. Allen, the scorer of the only goal so far. Brannigan. Randall's gone into the middle of the right back as Ibe makes good progress. Cuts it back to Allen. Good block by Butterfield.
Getting into some good areas, one-on-ones, and then wide areas. Ibe again, good covering from Butterfield, who's got a tough job. Just sitting in front of the 2 centre-backs and trying to block things and trying to protect more Taylor and Brown.
It's Troy Brown who's marking Benteke. It's the clear. Ibe can't push out very far though. Ibe lines one up and gets it through a crowd of players. But Olenek saw it and dealt with it.
It just seemed as though when he gets away here, it just seems as though none of the Exeter players want to go to him. They're all fearful of leaving the man that they're marking. He's able to go forward, and it's a good save from Olenek.
Benteke coming in. So he blocked off Brown in the first place, Liverpool did, but he got back. Great credit to his sense of tenacity. Exeter will say, yeah, you can have a crack from there, Jordan. The chances of scoring are not that great. That's his second one in quick succession.
I think the thing is, though, from Exeter's point of view, the first couple of corners they got done 2v1, so then you expect the players, they're going to get a grip and say, right, we don't get done again. But every corner now that's been taken, it's been short, and then has been 2v1, so Exeter need to do something about that. Get another player to go out there to make sure that these type of situations can't happen.
Just over 5 minutes left in the first half. Liverpool's half, and the margin of territory not really reflected by the margin on the scoreline. In the second half, of course, Liverpool attacked their favourite Kop end of Anfield, but Exeter will be attacking the end where their supporters are, which I'm sure will give them a lift. And they're still very much in this cup tie. Ribeiro. Butterfield. That's a good ball in terms of intent by Ribeiro. Just too long for Alex Nichols. They had a few more players in the attacking third, Exeter, there. For the most part, Morrison, and even he's dropping in now. Let's get back, try and get behind the ball. Oakley trying to do that. Smith wants to hit down the outside again of Teixeira. And he's not that far. That was on the inside, but he wasn't going to get it.
I think the one thing from Exeter's point of view, although Liverpool have been by far the dominant team and had quite a few chances, at the moment it's 1-0, and that's what Tisdale will be saying. If they can go in at half-time 1-0, they're still in the game. They've got a lot of attacking options on the bench as well. So, like you said previously, you know, the plan that will be in place will be first half contain them, and then the second half try and get more involved yourselves.
Brannigan. Stewart skim it out to Smith, but able to get beyond Nichols. Liverpool get a free kick. Smith slightly in the wars. Stewart. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go to half-time at Anfield. 11 years since Exeter were last at this stage, and they had a heroic game at Old Trafford, 0-0 against Manchester United. Just 2-0 at home in the replay. Similarities down in Devon being drawn with what's happened here in the third round in 2016. Oakley with the throw.
That's the one thing they're trying to do, actually. They're trying to keep the ball, play 2 or 3 passes, then set it back and then go that little bit longer, try and beat the press. And a couple of times they've got beyond the midfield, and it's just about that pass being right. So they're trying to get Liverpool to go in and then play that little bit longer and try and get down the sides of them.
Stewart's given it out to Randall. Towards Benteke. Judged by Brown, though. Retrieved by Smith. Stewart. It's been a lot of this first half in this kind of situation. Pretty much every player but Mignolet in Exeter territory. Allen. I think it goes Exeter's way, and heading towards what would probably be seen as not a wanted scoreline, but a reasonably satisfactory one, and not perhaps what he thought after an early goal. But his youngsters might just grab this night by the scruff of their necks.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And I think the one thing that Tisdale will be saying to his players at half-time is that there's more to come from us. Nerves will start to set in if it stays 1-0, you know, well into the second half. If Liverpool can't get that second goal, and that's then, I think, when Exeter look to capitalise.
They're looking for the second goal here. Allen to Benteke, trying to steer it in. I've seen him score goals like that before, with placement as well as power. Turning Exeter players in the way. Ribeiro's touch, made by Brown. Holmes. Now Morrison. Butterfield. Just 1 or 2 signs of a little bit more confidence and control from Exeter. I'll be thinking too, well, we've seen what they've got, Liverpool, now. 1 minute of stoppage time to go. It's just 1 goal gone past. Holmes again. Ribeiro. Hopefully within a short touch. And the Exeter fans at the other end of the ground enjoying this.
I think you've seen if they can get 2 or 3 passes, the Liverpool players come out to them, and if that longer ball is right, they will get some chance, and I think that they're starting to believe a little bit more now.
A long throw through to Morrison. Passed away by Jose Enrique. Brown. What we've seen in the last 10 minutes or so suggests the second half has an intriguing feel to it. We get to half-time with Christian Benteke not able to take a number of chances and half chances that come his way. But Joe Allen took his opportunity, set up by Brad Smith, and it looked then, in the early stages of the game, that Liverpool would be too strong, too clever for their opposition from the 4th tier of English football. But Paul Tisdale, the manager, came here with a plan for Exeter, and by and large that plan has held firm, and we'll see what he's got up his sleeve for the second half. Half-time in this 3rd round FA Cup replay. Liverpool 1, Exeter City 0. Welcome back to Anfield, and the second half of what's turning out to be an intriguing FA Cup evening. Liverpool, perhaps as expected, started well, got the goal, and looked as though they could really put Exeter away in the first half an hour. So that hasn't happened. No more scoring after the Joe Allen goal, and manager Paul Tisdale of Exeter made it quite clear before the game in his pre-match interview that he had a plan for the second half. And Danny Higginbotham, we've got 2 changes here, coming on 2 attackers. Tom Nichols, who scored against Liverpool 12 days ago, and Will Hoskins. Clinton Morrison, no surprise, I think he's one of the veterans who's gone off. And Danny Butterfield, another who, of course, is a bit long in the tooth, but was doing a particularly a screening job. So 2 attackers, more open Exeter. They're going for it.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. You'll see more of a 4-4-2 now, but what will be so important when they are having to defend, I mean, Nichols or Hoskins will just have to drop into that midfield area. But what they'll be looking to do, because we've seen Smith and Randall full back for Liverpool, they've been looking to get forward as much as possible. So when Exeter do get the ball back, they'll be looking to get down the sides of Enrique and Ilori.
Just to reiterate, they are attacking the end where their 6,000 fans are in the Anfield Road stand. Of course, Liverpool are attacking the famous Kop end. They're not attacking at the moment, they're having to defend. And one of those moments that could have been from Alex Nichols.
You've already seen now straight away in under a minute of the second half, Nichols coming inside. It was a long ball. Liverpool didn't defend it too well. They say at half-time, Paul Tisdale will have told his players, listen, get at this back four. They're not used to playing together. Ask questions of them. And you can see straight from the offset in the second half, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
And it's more of a high-risk strategy, but the rewards could be fantastic. Led on by the goal scorer, Allen. It's a turn of foot by Teixeira. Ibe. A couple of decent shots in the first half. Stewart. Allen. Randall, who does like to push forward but hasn't had any opportunity to do that from right back in the first half. Brannigan. Teixeira. Randall's gone on into the middle. Brannigan looks for him, finds him. Had the trick in the tight area to keep Liverpool going in the right direction. Stewart. Brannigan, be positive, a little break as well. And Davis staying with him, and disarming him in the end, and hurting him a little bit too.
I think what we will see now with Exeter, if anything, although they've gone to a 4-4-2 now, I think you'll see them defensively stronger, because I think in the first half the problem is that you had Nichols and Holmes. They were a little bit wary of not being able to give support to Morrison up front, so they weren't coming back and helping out too much defensive. But now with two centre forwards, it means that they can have two banks of four, the defensive four and the midfield four, close together, so there won't be that much room in the wide areas for the fullbacks of Liverpool to attack.
Here's one of those fullbacks, Conor Randall, deciding that he might go all the way. And Woodman gave away 2 penalties on Saturday in a League Two match. Mindful then, might have done something similar here, a sporty trip to Liverpool tonight. Allen, Brannigan, now Ibe. Back heel was shrewd, trying to make something of it. But it's noticeable that already in 2 or 3 of these second half attacks they've not gone wide and crossed the Benteke, which of course they're quite entitled to do. But Benteke, wondering whether he's going to maybe get across this time. From Conor Randall, it's a great angle for it. It's one for Benteke to attack. And very well defended by Ribeiro.
It's fantastic defending from Ribeiro. That's exactly what you want from your opposite fullback. Get into that far post area and cover your 2 centre-backs, and he's done that brilliantly there, because Benteke is ready to pounce at the far post there, but great defending.
Not his night so far. But, I suspect he'll get other chances. Ibe. This is Stewart. Helped by Ibe. Takes on Woodman. Gets past Woodman. Stewart shot. Oh, and Ilori. Ibe. But the flag was up.
And he's just given offside.
Well, sorry to cut across you, Danny. You know as well as I do what a great moment this is for Liverpool Football Club and Liverpool people, and they're standing up to welcome back John Flanagan. His last game for Liverpool in May 2014, when Liverpool actually came second to Manchester City. That came against Newcastle. The win wasn't enough for them. It's a straight replacement for Conor Randall. He's worked so hard through various knee problems and playing in the under-21s and just getting a bit of game time and getting his fitness back. But this is what he's been aiming for, and welcome back John Flanagan.
No question about it. When he came into the Liverpool team, he looked right at home. You can see what the supporters think about him. No nonsense. Great at going forward as well. And as you'd said previously, got involved in the England squad as well.
There's a senior cap to his name. Then we've got Flanagan and Brannigan and Allen. Crossed by Ilori, and we've still got Liverpool 1, Exeter City 0 in the 3rd round replay of the FA Cup. Joe Allen. Ball. Flanagan, it was a good one too. Ibe. He's just run it out. They do feel they can get past Craig Woodman, who's another of the senior citizens in this side at 33.
I think the situation is there. You know, when you see that as a left winger, Holmes, he just needs to be giving him that little bit of support. You know, you can see him with the pink boots, he's just watching.
The footwork needed by Mignolet. Allen. Ibe. From Brannigan. Teixeira. Unbeaten in their cup matches this season. And in their 6 Europa League games. Still not quite finding the subtlety around the edge of the penalty area. Exeter coping reasonably well, but they bring the ball back at their lower division opponents to Liverpool with Allen and Brannigan into Benteke. Brannigan's there again. Ibe waiting. Flanagan tries to take it on. It would really bring the house down if Flanagan went on and scored on his comeback. He scored once. The senior team, you mentioned it, Danny, at Spurs in a big Liverpool win at White Hart Lane. Short corner to Brannigan, back to Ibe. Oh, underside of the bar. And one or two Liverpool players thought that might have been a penalty. Maybe they thought the ball was over the line, but it wasn't given. Danny Higginbotham.
Oh, it's a fantastic strike again, but they haven't learned from the first half, Exeter. They only let one go out. You see, it's a great strike. Keeper's got no chance, and for me, well, I think the pictures tell you all you need to know. And yeah, I think that's over the line.
The whole of the ball has to be over, and even as a minuscule bit of it overhanging, the goal is not given, and it possibly was that spared Exeter. Corner in towards Teixeira. Jordan Ibe will get no closer to an Anfield goal without actually scoring one.
It's a fantastic strike. The power alone beat Alenic. I've seen a few of the Liverpool players, I think, thought it would cross the line, and then they thought they should have had a penalty as well from the follow-up.
A bit of a let-off for Exeter. Can't quite keep the ball when there was a possibility of catching Liverpool slightly out of shape defensively. Woodman. And again. And he's lost out to Ibe. And Liverpool now have 5 players going at 4 defenders, and they can't play it right. It's a pretty good kick by Alenic. A very good kick by Alenic. Wow. Here we go. This is the technology. Yeah, there's a little bit on the line. There you go.
Now, that's why the technology comes in, isn't it? Because it does look as though it is over the line, but like I say, even if it's just a bit, it hasn't gone over the line, the goal won't be given.
Into the 50th anniversary year, of course, the famous was it over the line goal in the World Cup final, no less. I think they were given the goal. All of Germany still feels a sense of injustice about that match. Look in the record books is the English answer to it. And down goes Benteke. Well, it's a much tighter contest than possibly anyone would have expected here at Anfield tonight.
This is where he's good, Benteke, when he gets the ball into him and the strength that he's got. And Brown there, there's no need. He's got Benteke towards his own goal. He just needs to face him up, and Liverpool now got a free kick in a very promising position.
Smith having a look at it as well as Brannigan. Brannigan takes away by Brown. Done well, Troy Brown. He's in the Wales under-21 squad. And Davis, another Wales qualified player. And plan B for Exeter hasn't changed the scoreline. Steve Perryman to add his wisdom to Paul Tisdale's belief. There's a good combination behind the scenes there. One more substitution, of course, is still at Exeter's disposal. Jose Enrique, cut out by Oakley. Allen. Ribeiro can't get it back. Alex Nichols did momentarily, and then Ribeiro sees it out, and Allen turns away in frustration. He's only scored, it's only his 6th goal in over 100 games for Liverpool. In his more recent appearances have been more evidence of him being encouraged to get into the box.
I think the thing is with him, he's under Klopp, he's going to have to reinvent himself. I don't think there's any question about it, because obviously Klopp doesn't see him as the defensive midfielder, whether that be Lucas or whether that be someone that comes in the near future. So Lucas is having to take it on board, and as you've said, and as we've seen, he is getting forward more as one of the 2 box-to-box, either side of the defensive one.
Very associated, of course, with the previous manager, Brendan Rodgers. The Swansea connection. Motoring outside him and beyond it. Teixeira. Put this to bed, Liverpool. Not by any means, not yet. Stewart. Allen. Off of it to Flanagan. And stopping the cross. Nice touch from Cameron Brannigan. Now it's Ibe. Test of the inexperience of these Liverpool players. A little mistake, and could find themselves looking at headlines that they'll be concerned about, but not if Benteke gets in here. Alenik, very brave. And still that second goal elusive for Liverpool. Holmes. Shouts for handball, more from the fans, I think, than the players. Swarbrick not moved by that, but it's a corner.
Good play. It's trying to play out from the back, but they go forward, come back, make Liverpool press on them, and then go beyond them, and this created this position. And for the cross to come in, and very difficult to be given a penalty from there, but what an opportunity now for Exeter with ball coming into the box.
Well, of course, Lee Holmes scored from a right-wing corner with his left foot, not against this goalkeeper, but Mignolet's had his problems. It was at this end of the ground. He couldn't deal with the corner that led to Manchester United winning in the Premier League only as recently as last Sunday. Striker and David Wheeler. Exeter brought 2 forwards on at half-time with an hour gone. Another change, emphasis to it from Paul Tisdale. It's the captain, Jordan Moore-Taylor, born in Exeter, totally committed to Exeter City. Wheeler comes from Brighton originally, played non-league football for Lewis while he was a student at Brunel University. Bright in his mind. We'll see whether he's bright with his feet here. Can keep Exeter alive in the FA Cup. Liverpool being asked to defend. It's an effort on target from Holmes. One that really in any way troubled Mignolet, and Liverpool grateful to have some space to break into here. Teixeira, Benteke was thinking of letting it run. Allen's arriving. Look at the number of players forward for Jurgen Klopp's second team, I guess we should call it. Stewart. Teixeira. Can't find a way out. He's quick, Tom Nichols. He's in form too. He's amongst the scorers again on Saturday, as he was against Liverpool the Friday week before that. Flanagan. It's a great atmosphere, and it's worthy of the FA Cup. And so is the tightness, being even wider gaps than this one bridged by this competition. Ibe. He hit another one with the left foot. Well, he did, but he was reaching back for it. And, well, the first one was power against the underside of the bar. He was just trying to reach back for that and place it beyond Olenek.
Yeah, it just seemed to go too wide for him to be able to get his left foot around it and whip it into the corner. But Ibe's been dangerous as well. It's a good 1-2 in the box. He's just not able to get on target.
So on comes Wheeler and Matt Oakley departs. So how are they who's going to go into the middle of midfield now? Butterfield off, Oakley off. Aaron Davis, work your socks off. Oh, he is turning it back to Brown. Well, I guess this is all part of plan B rather than plan C. And there's still over 25 minutes to go. It's kept in. And Liverpool again just showing one moment. And concentration deserts them. And this could be level in a flash.
Well, it looks as though they've gone 4-3-3 now. So they've got Nichols, Davis and Holmes. And then they've got Hoskins, Nichols.
It's one of the few senior players in this side who's going off. He's going off with a goal to his name, Joe Allen. Well taken in the right position to convert Brad Smith's cutback. And on comes 18-year-old Shea Ojo, who was a substitute down at St James's Park in Devon. So the young Liverpool side, the average age gets even younger. Had gone out. Ojo's been on loan at Wolves, where he played a fair bit, but we did as well as could be expected. Maybe not quite as much as loan club really wanted. Good work by Holmes in the tackle. Woodman. Or Taylor. Hoisted forward by Brown. Got out though by Flanagan. Brannigan. So probably more touches on the ball than most. And there's John Flanagan. Ojo. Plenty of pace about his game. And he's made an interception there that could have been profitable for Liverpool. Teixeira. Haven't quite shown the same sort of penetration, Liverpool, so far in the second half. Although just one goal in the first half, they opened Exeter up on a fairly regular basis. Squandered the other chances. Made one very good save from Brannigan. And of course Liverpool have rattled the crossbar in the second half through Jordan Ibe. Jose Enrique, Teixeira. Stewart. Remember, this is the first time in the tie that Liverpool have been in front. Twice only to come from behind to get the replay on the first game. Brannigan. See Exeter still with plenty of players behind the ball and a good defensive shape to it. There's Enrique. Ibe himself on the left for Shearer. Ibe's going to play out there with Ojo playing on the right. And they're in here with Smith. So close to setting up a second. And here come Exeter with the kind of break that their fans have been yearning for. And more players can come forward at the free kick.
It's a good play from Holmes, a good break from him. I'm sure we'll see Woodman again on the ball now, because he has got good delivery. But what they're doing, they're playing 4-5-1 when they're defending, keeping it nice and now, just as we see another opportunity here. Good play once again from Smith. They managed to get out of harm's way, and this is where they broke from. I think it was an unfortunate slip from Stewart, but a good opportunity now to put it into the box. And look for Wheeler, who's just come on. He's more of a physical presence. You've got more Taylor and Brown as well. They'll be looking to get on the end of it.
It's there to be fought for, and Benteke does it defensively. And he leads Liverpool out of trouble again. Again, the 5 forward. Again, it's finding the right ball into Ojo from Ibe, who carried the ball all down that far side. It wasn't the worst ball in by Woodman in the first place. Teixeira. Exeter standing their ground, playing with a lot of courage and a lot of clever thought gone into the setup by Paul Tisdale. Flanagan. Ojo. Brannigan. Nichols and Wheeler trying to steal it back on the halfway line. And it's strong play by Moore Taylor. There's a big feeling within the Exeter ranks that Nichols, Tom Nichols that is, and David Wheeler will be moving on, because there's been interest in them, and they might even go in this window, although the need to cash in would be softened by the fact that they're making, they reckon, around £700,000 from this cup run. And of course, the cup run isn't yet over. We want to get ahead of ourselves in that respect, and if they were to get through, they'll have a home game with West Ham, more television revenue as well. It'll be well over £1 million then, I would think. So they're fighting for, obviously, the players, for the pride of getting a result here at Anfield, but for the club's fortunes as well. I think they might have gone under but for that Manchester United money in the FA Cup 11 years ago. So it's another aspect of this wonderful competition, how it does help the underdogs. Ibe. Just delayed by Teixeira, mishit by Brannigan. And a little dribbler from Ojo.
Good scene. More Taylor there. It was a fantastic block from him. But this is something that they're probably going to have to put up with for this last 19-20 minutes, because they are, committing a lot more men further forward, so they will be open to the counter. There's been 3 substitutions. It's been Nichols, Wheeler and Hoskins, all of them have come on, 3 centre forwards, so they will be, like I say, open. But the other side of that, it makes them a lot more attack minded as well, and they can finally look to trouble Ilori and Enrique in that centre half position.
Well, from Moore Taylor. And trouble Smith too. It's a fair enough challenge. I think it's just a throw. Brad Smith seemed to have left Liverpool. I hear various versions of the story. It's played by Mignolet, but they did retain his registration. He went off for pastures greener, found that they weren't so green, and then came back and was reinstated in the squad as recently as November. Paul Tisdale would have been impressed when the dust settles on this, with Brad Smith's contribution for Liverpool against his team in both legs. He's had more opportunities. I remember when he was at Liverpool, if you like, the first time around, he came on as a substitute at Chelsea in a high-profile Premier League game and looked totally out of his depth. And you wondered whether you'd ever see him again. And now we're thinking, well, we're going to see plenty of him. And this cup tie, the 2 games, has been a real showcase for Brad Smith.
I think Klopp really seems to like him. Obviously, you know, I said I think he's been on loan at Swindon, and he seems to be surplus to requirements under Brendan Rodgers. But with Klopp coming in, managers, things can change for players, and it seems to be very much that way for Smith.
Teixeira with the drag back, the flick. It's really still a bit premature for that unless it does create something. He is an artist, really. Whether his artistic skills will be matched with enough strength to play regularly in the Premier League, only time will tell. But you do feel that these youngsters are earning their spurs under Jurgen Klopp, because if they are good enough in games like this, he's not shy of putting them into a Premier League squad. Smith was a substitute, though he didn't get on at the weekend. Here's Ojo. He wants to get it onto his left foot, because he can do just that. And that might just be the goal to sink Exeter, and it's symbolic, really, of the way this cup tie has been played. Jurgen Klopp's gone with the kids, and there's a boy who's become a man with a goal like that.
It's a fantastic strike. Ojo, you could see what he wanted to do. He wanted to get onto his left foot, but the finish, when you have to look at the goalkeeper, Alenic, he doesn't even move. See his first touch, and he wants to get onto his left foot. He does, and all Alenic can do is just watch it. But we've said, you know, as much as now Exeter are going to try and get into this game, they will be susceptible to the counter-attack, and there will be times where the likes of Ojo can create space, and he's done it brilliantly. He knows exactly what he wants to do. You know, Alenic, he just has to watch it go into the back of the net. Bit cruel, I think, on Exeter and the way they performed this second half.
Well, Jurgen Klopp's angle down in the dugout would have been right behind that, and he would have seen, as Ojo saw himself, the perfect placement. It just a lofted pass into the far corner, really. 2-0 Liverpool. It's going to take some heroics from Exeter now. Tom Nichols. Back by Holmes. Davis. More Taylor. With plenty forward. Cliche, you're vulnerable when you've just scored. Short catch. Was penalised in the Europa League for hanging on for the ball too long. You'll be counting your seconds here, and actually it conceded a goal from the indirect free kick that followed, a touch and hit. Well, deep down they'll be thinking, we've tried what we set out to do, and came with a game plan. It was a classy goal, and there may be more to come here. Ojo, left foot again, nudges it off to Teixeira. And now Brannigan, nowhere near the cross. Stewart. Ojo. Brannigan. Nicely worked by Kevin Stewart. And now the chasing is that much more daunting for the Exeter lads. Stewart. There's Enrique. Would never play for Liverpool again. It was training. He was training with the youngsters, so it's probably just as well they played him in this game, because he knew them all. But in Brendan Rodgers' time, it seemed that they'd come to a parting of the ways, if not actually in terms of the Spaniard leaving the club. But certainly in terms of him participating in any first-team squads. A bit of overplaying by Liverpool here. There's Enrique going to buy a bit of time. There's a ball on to Tom Nichols in the end, which wasn't played by Hoskins, or by Holmes rather. Alex Nichols. Oh, it's come a long way, and then a ricochet, and needed some alertness from Flanagan, which he was certainly capable of. Woodman. Stefan's not happy. The free kick goes against their team.
You see Ojo again. He lays the ball off, and the thing is with Ojo, I think he really made a difference in the first game. And the ball comes into the box. Benteke finds himself on the 18-yard box. That's where you want him on the penalty spot. You know, that's what he's very good at, but he just drifted out of it at times, and that was the frustrating thing there for Benteke.
Well, he was involved in the second goal. He was millimetres away from scoring a second goal. Jordan Ibe made his way to Pedro Chirivella, who came on as a substitute down in Devon in the first game. Played once before in a Europa League match. Another 18-year-old.
See a bit of a battle there, and Benteke, more of a wrestling move really, but just going back to Liverpool players and the youngsters, you cannot want for anything more as a young player coming from a massive club like Liverpool to know that if you're good enough, you will get the opportunity. And you know, to be a young lad at Liverpool now, you know that the future's in your hands. If you're good enough, you'll get the opportunity. If you're not, then obviously you move on, and you can't ask for anything more than that.
As it was very much in your formative years at Manchester United.
Yeah, I was given opportunities, and I was fortunate enough to play a few games, but in the end I left because I wasn't good enough. As simple as that, and you accept that. And as long as you know that that is the only reason why you have to leave a football club, you cannot complain.
Here's Benteke to show that he's good enough for Liverpool, not just in the FA Cup, but in Jurgen Klopp's first choice plans, which I don't think he is at the moment. 10 minutes to go. Lori gets away with a bit of a muddle challenge. Defenders are quite good at disguising fouls like that. Smith. Well, when you drive in at pace and somebody meets you solidly, it can be a potential injury risk with the speed you're travelling at. A lot of players forward for Exeter here. He was lucky. One was Flanagan. I was just thinking in that moment when Smith went forward, Danny, about Luke Shaw and how he got injured earlier this season and was not played since. Incident in European football. Here's Benteke. It's a very good run. He's going to look to finish it. He's looking for some support. And it is 3, and Teixeira was that support. He made it count. Scored by Teixeira, set up by Benteke, and Liverpool pulling away in the closing stages from Exeter City.
It's great play from Benteke. He's gone past 2 or 3 challenges, and then you think he's going to hit it, and he doesn't. He takes his time, plays a precision pass to Teixeira, and it's a good finish. And they're always going to be open now to the counter. A fantastic play from Benteke. Teixeira always just on the left of him. He's got the presence of mind then to play it into him. An inch perfect pass. You can see there Moore Taylor was playing him onside. He's trying to get offside, but no chance of it. A great play from Benteke. Look at the amount of extra players that have been dragged over to him. And he plays that pass, and when the pass is made, it's a real tough one there, because Wheeler thinks he can get to it. Because he thinks he can get to it, he takes himself out of the game. Can't do anything about it. Teixeira opens himself up nicely. Fantastic finish.
Well, go and enjoy yourselves. That's what he said at the start, Jurgen Klopp. It hasn't been total enjoyment for this young Liverpool team, because Exeter came with a plan and they've shown plenty of resolve to get this far, of course, in the FA Cup. And they started at the first round proper.
I think one thing that will have been very beneficial for the young players of Liverpool is that they've had to be patient. You know, and sometimes young players, being naive, they can get frustrated and, you know, and want to try and get 2-3 goals as soon as they can, but they have been very patient, and that's something that is a fantastic experience for the youngsters.
Benteke trying to go it alone. He wouldn't begrudge him that at this stage. Aaron Davis away. Alex Nichols having to play on the retreat. And what the Exeter fans now would be just hoping to see their team score. A memory for the journey back down the west of the country. Let's hope for them that the motorways aren't shut, which sometimes they surprisingly seem to be, without too much help to the public to find other directions. Speaking from bitter experience, as you would guess. Here's a Brannigan. Now Flanagan. That's been another bonus for Liverpool tonight. That means a huge amount within the Liverpool squad, those who are playing and those who are watching. Was offside. Benteke, he just wanted it a little bit earlier. He'd love a goal. He's one of those players who finds his confidence from scoring rather than creating.
I think as well, if you look at this Liverpool team, I think the one bonus for them, the likes of Smith and you know, Randall, who started, Brannigan, Stewart, players like that, they've grown together, so they know each other's style of play. So when they all come into this, they're in it together. It's not just a single type thing. So they know each other's style of play, and I think that makes them automatically more comfortable because it's players that they've grown up playing with.
That's a very good attendance, isn't it? It's not that far short of capacity here. And the Exeter fans might get their moment here. Still might. Ribeiro trying to get the cross in. And 4 in the box earlier.
It's good play. It's fantastic defending in the box there for Laurie in the right place at the right.
And David Wheeler, who's the second high scorer behind Tom Nichols, the 2 leading scorers at the club, held in reserve by Paul Tisdale's plan here to allow those who thought would maybe knew their way around Anfield a bit better. It's Oakley and Butterfield and Morrison to start off the attempt to get through. In the corner, still a cross. It's a good block. It's Tom Nichols trying his luck with the overhead kick. Counter-attacks on for Liverpool again. This might be Benteke's moment. He's confused by Teixeira. Teixeira's first senior goal, as it was, of course, for Ojo. Cervelia.
I think, you know, you talk about the attendance, it's absolutely magnificent now. So Liverpool, they always have taken the FA Cup seriously, but look at the amount of supporters that have turned up. So many of them have come along as well because they want to see the next generation, the next young player, because that's what supporters want. They want to see young players coming through the ranks. And I think that is one of the biggest things they will have gathered from this game. They go home talking about, oh, he could play in the first team, or he could play in the first team. It's a great talking point, something to keep their eye out for.
Benteke. Might be another goal for them to enjoy here. Back by Flanagan. Anxious to have every touch possible. Hungry to play football at this level again. Benteke won't get that. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that, Danny, because after the first game I heard various media outlets saying, oh, all those Liverpool fans went down to Exeter and didn't see any stars. But they will be saying, well, I saw the game when Brad Smith scored his first goal, and now tonight they say, I saw Ojo score and Teixeira score. Maybe even Benteke score, but not quite. Frustrating night for him goes on. There's only a couple of minutes to go.
It's a good save from Elenic. He's trying everything he can, Benteke, to get that goal. It's a good save from Elenic. But yeah, 100%, definitely. That's what supporters want to see. If they see youngsters coming through the ranks and they're playing, they would love to see that, because like you say, it's the beginning of a journey. Like you just said, I saw X, Y and Z play and they played their first game.
I always say I saw Wayne Rooney play in a FA Youth Cup semi-final for Everton against Spurs. He scored 2 magnificent goals, and I went home and told my kids, who were very young at the time, I've just seen a superstar, and they think I discovered Rooney. but I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it. And you know, that's what football's part of football's adventure, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think one of the big complaints now is that we don't see enough young players come through the academies. Well, we're seeing it now.
Deflection that in the end helped Elenic. For Teixeira looks for a second. Yeah, I mean, the counter argument is, of course, suppose Liverpool had lost 2-1 at Exeter, then what do you feel as a fan going back? You perhaps feel the manager got it wrong, but they didn't lose, and in the end you can only be judged on fact, not supposition. Brannigan, who's enjoyed himself. Benteke, so really it's gone back on the side. Ojo. Yeah, actually lost control of the ball. Woodman will go back to the goalkeeper. I think there's 2 things we'll remember from this, Danny. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you know, the point you're making about seeing the young stars take some steps along the road that they hope that will lead to real status in the game, but also the thought that Exeter have put in to try and overturn the odds here.
I don't think there's any question about it. Tisdale, he's a very forward-thinking manager, and he will try different things, and we've seen that. Played 2 or 3 different formations, have the plan A and the plan B. They've not just come here and hope for the best, so you give Paul Tisdale great credit for that, but he will have been under no illusions. He knows it would have taken a very much below par performance from Liverpool, and Exeter play, you know, above their normal style and standard, so you know, he will have been under no illusions whatsoever.
Just a couple of minutes to go of added time. And, Ojo wanting to use that to his team's advantage. Flanagan's cut back. Ojo waiting on the edge of the area. Brannigan going in. Away by Brown. Here goes Holmes, he might have a dig with his left foot. No, lays it off to Alex Nichols. Kept in by Tom Nichols. Wheeler waiting in the middle. And Aaron Davis has a shot that's blocked. Ribeiro doesn't even get the corner out of it with just 60 seconds of stoppage time to go. Just because you're not expected to win, it doesn't make losing any easier, does it? And Steve Perryman and Paul Tisdale's expressions reflecting that. Very professional. Their job is to win football matches, and whatever the stakes. But as I said at the start, I do feel they had a great opportunity in the home game, Exeter, which they didn't take. Replays allowed their fans to sample watching their team here. And maybe with the last kick of the game, they will have a special memory, even in defeat. Taken by Holmes. Members of that corner. And he scored from directly in the first game, and it's 4 against, what, 2? Plus the goalkeeper. And Benteke to wrap it up. Well, not himself maybe, and not for anybody else either, and that's the end. That rather sums up Benteke's night, but he's on the winning side. Jurgen Klopp has put out a team good enough to get Liverpool through the third round to the fourth round in a home tie with West Ham United. Shea Ojo scored his first goal for the club in his second appearance. Joe Allen had started off early, but there was a fair period through the middle of the match where one wondered whether the planning of Exeter and the changes of strategy would get them an equaliser. But once Ojo scored, and then it was followed up by Teixeira, made by Benteke, to give what will go down in the record books as a fairly comprehensive victory in this third round replay. Liverpool 3, Exeter City 0.